What's up guys, my name is Alex. In this video I'm going to be telling you all of the reasons why I decided to go with a 24-inch Audley DTF printer for my custom heat transfer business. If you guys are interested in learning more about why I chose this specific printer, why I didn't go with an option from the US like DTF Superstore or All-American Print Supply, I leave all of these reasons and more down below in this video. So if you guys are interested in any of that, make sure you don't go anywhere and stick around. Okay, first things first, I want to go a little bit over how this video is going to work. So first off, I'm going to identify all of the reasons why I needed a DTF printer for my business. And then secondly, I'm going to talk about the research and decision-making process that I went through in order to decide that an Audley 24-inch DTF printer was going to be right for me. Thirdly, we're going to then work on showing you actually how the DTF printer works, because if you guys are new here and you don't know, I have two Audley 24-inch DTF printers currently running right now, making custom transfers for my business. So that's what we got going on later. And then finally, I want to wrap up the video with how this purchase, getting these DTF printers, has impacted my business. Has it impacted it for the good, for the bad? You guys are all going to find out in this video. All right though, first things first, I want to talk about what our business is and why we needed a DTF printer, why we felt we needed one at least. So we are a custom screen print and custom DTF transfer supplier located in Houston, Texas. And what that means is that we allow our customers to upload their own artwork to our website, and they can get custom gang sheets, custom pricing, custom designs, whatever it is, they can get those printed and shipped to them within a reasonable time frame. We started out the business offering screen printing services, so we offered those to schools, churches, local organizations around us, but we were actually directly screen printing the garments ourselves. Eventually we found out that there's this thing called screen print transfers, where instead of printing on the garment, you actually print on a sheet of paper, and then you use that sheet of paper to then transfer your design wherever you need it, whatever size tee you need, anything. So it makes just like printing transfers and making different size shirts on demand especially a lot easier, which is exactly what we were doing at the time. So we got into screen print transfers by need and desire for ourselves. We wanted it to use in our business. We weren't even really thinking about selling the transfers as a standalone product themselves. It wasn't until a few months went by that we actually decided, hey, there might be something here with the screen print transfers. And we actually looked at selling the product directly to consumers as is in the transfer form. So while we were doing that, we were finding good luck just selling our single color screen print transfers, but we were encountering a number of different customers that would have full color artworks. They would only want a few different transfers, so they wouldn't meet the 6-sheet minimum that we have for our screen print transfers. So there was just a lot of different cases that we were coming across where we couldn't actively fit the needs of our customers and what our customers were asking of us. So we were having to say no. And saying no isn't always a bad thing in business. It can be a good thing if you just want to focus on what you are selling and making the best possible of that version of the product that you are selling. That can be a good thing. But it was really seeming like we could stand to benefit from offering full color and low quantity transfers, which is where we started looking into DTF transfers in general. So we had already had our single color screen print transfer business up and running, but then we also started to offer our full color DTF transfers. Now you might be asking yourself, how did you already offer them? Like, how did you do that? What printer did you buy to start making those? And what we actually did was we found a reputable vendor that was actually in Baytown, Texas, to print our full color DTF transfers. So what we were doing was outsourcing all of our full color DTF transfers. We were sending it out to him. He would print it, send it back to us, and then we would rebox it and send it to the customer as is. So that was exactly what we were doing at the time, and why we found ourselves in need of a DTF printer for ourselves, one that we ran and operated in our own business vertically. Now, as you guys heard, there is a number of different steps that have to go through with outsourcing your products to another company. You have to get everything ready, so assemble the gang sheets, and then you have to place your order with that other company. and then they have to produce it, they have to ship it to you, and then you also then have to rebox it and ship it to your customer. So the problems that we were running into with outsourcing all of our work was that it was slow, unreliable, and overall a very expensive stopgap for us in our business. We were spending thousands of dollars a month just outsourcing our transfers just so that we didn't have to turn away customers who were looking for full quality transfers. We would rather still have the customer in our system, even though we weren't making as handsome of a profit, if it meant that we weren't sending that customer to a competitor down the street. So that was at least our thought process. And the profits at the beginning while we were outsourcing, they were pretty slim. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. So all of these things combined really led us to thinking, I think it's time that we actually do bite the bullet and take the step into buying our own DTF printer. But it wasn't until we made the calculation that buying a DTF printer ourselves, we would have sufficient volume to where we would run the DTF printer every single day, because that's one of the main things about Audley DTF printers and really just DTF printers in general. The nozzle heads can clog with ink if you don't run them consistently. So a big thing for us was making sure that we just had consistent work in our system, that we could be running that printer every single day and we didn't have to worry about clogs like that. Okay, so now we are going to transition into the research and decision making process that we went through to decide that an Audley 24-inch DTF printer was going to be right for us. Now, if you guys have ever done a Google search before, you know there is a ton of different options for DTF printers out there. You can buy some directly from people in the United States. You can buy some from Facebook Marketplace, though I do not recommend buying a used DTF printer. You don't know what the status is. You don't know what state the previous owner left that in. So just as like a general rule of thumb, at least for right now in 2023, I would definitely avoid buying a used DTF printer unless you are going to commit to maybe purchasing some new print heads or something, because it's a risky investment, because like I said, those nozzles can clog, and the actual like print head assemblies are the most expensive parts of the DTF printer. So as I was doing my research, I was coming across a whole bunch of different United States suppliers, but what I was really finding is they were at least 2 times to sometimes 3 times more expensive than if I were to buy a DTF printer directly from the manufacturer in China. So I got in contact with a contact on Alibaba near Han. I'll go ahead and place the name right here. And she was a company representative from Audley Printing. They are based in Shenzhen, China, I believe. I will put something on the screen if that's not the case. And they make the brand Audley. They have a whole bunch of different ranges of DTF printers from 24 inches, 48 inches, and I think they even might do some UV printers. So I got in contact with her, and she was very helpful throughout the entire process. She was holding my hand exactly through all of the steps, even though I was a complete noob and I didn't know anything about the printer actions. Nirhan really did make me feel comfortable in purchasing from Audley, purchasing on Alibaba, and purchasing from them in general. I felt comfortable. So at this point, the decision to me was quite clear. I could save 2 times the amount on the DTF printer, so I'll give you guys the actual concrete numbers to make things easier. So I paid $9,600 for my DTF printer, and with that I did get some film and consumables, ink, powder, such as that. And the total price for me was $9,600. However, there were options that I was looking for on DTF Superstore that started at $18,000, and that was basically going to be for a comparable printer, so literally over double the price, not including any consumables, film, anything with the DTF Superstore one. That was just the printer itself. So the decision to me was quite clear. Even if I did run into some problems, I had figured that since I was saving $9,000 buying it from China, I figured it was 1, worth the wait, and then 2, if I did run into any problems, I could definitely solve them with the extra $9,000 that I had in my pocket. But again, I'm not saying that you have to purchase your DTF printer from Audley. There are a whole bunch of different US-based suppliers, and with that you do get the US-based support, which is a benefit if that's something that you're interested in. You still get support with the ones from China. It's just there is that language barrier, so you got to consider that. But again, I have dealt with the support from the China, and I mean, it's not great. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it gets the job done, and my problem has been resolved. So take with that what you will. Now, why did I choose this specific printer in general? over something maybe like a 48 inch or a 4-head, anything like that? That is an excellent question, and one that you guys have been asking me on my channel all the time. So when I was doing my research on this, I came across a whole bunch of different podcast episodes from actual owners, and the specific one that I'm going to reference here is the Printavo podcast with Stephen Farrig from Campus Inc. Stephen got a 4-head, I think, Raptor DTF printer from DTF Superstore, and he had nothing but bad things to say about that printer. He could not get it to print properly. He couldn't get it to get into registration, and a whole bunch of different problems that I will link the episode down below if you guys want to listen to him exactly. I do recommend checking that out. He goes into a whole bunch of detail, but he actually ended up having to send the 4-head back to DTF Superstore, and then they just sent him a 2-head. I mean, I know from my firsthand experience that registration can be a problem even with just the 2 heads. So let alone with 4, I can only imagine that problem being exponentially higher. And I don't know, that was a strong testimonial for me. And not only that, so that happened, I ended up making the decision to go with the 2-head. But then after that, I have found multiple other instances of people with 4-head DTF printers just having absolute nothing but problems. I don't know the exact reasoning behind the problems, but another example that I can list for you guys is Merch Studio. So he has had a number of different problems with his 4-head DTF printer, from nozzle clogs to I think he had to replace the print heads. I'm not sure exactly what the whole situation was, but that's just another testament to 4-head DTF printers. I'm not sure at the current moment, like I said, October 2023, that a 4-head DTF printer is going to be the best solution. And for what I need something that is going to be reliable day in and day out. And to me, that it was really obvious that a 2-head DTF printer was going to be that. Even though it does print slower, there's no doubt about it. A 4-head DTF printer can print up to twice as fast, but with all of the problems that I was hearing about, it just did not seem like something that I wanted to dive into. And I am very, very happy with the 2-head DTF printers that I've purchased. So those are all anecdotal evidence. Like, I don't have any actual real-world experience on why I wouldn't purchase a 4-head. I've never owned one. I've never actually even seen one in person. So those are just anecdotal experiences that I have from what I've seen online. But I mean, you guys are watching an online video right now as well. So if you guys do have a 4-head DTF printer and you get it to run consistently well, leave a comment down below. I would love to get in contact with you, pick your brain, and learn more. And you can tell me why my decision to go with a 2-head DTF printer was a bad idea. I would love to hear from you. Put your comment down below, and yeah, we'll get in contact. We'll figure this stuff out. But that is the main reason why I went with the 2-head. As for a 24-inch versus 48, it honestly just came down to I felt a 24-inch was going to be sufficient for my business. Like I said, we had really just crossed the threshold to being able to have enough volume to consistently run the printer every day. So I didn't feel like a 48-inch was going to be completely necessary for what I needed at the time. I might consider a 48-inch in the future, but if I'm not mistaken, I think most 48-inch DTF printers are going to be 4 heads. So let me know in the comments if you guys have any insight on that. All right though, guys, so those are the main reasons why I decided to go with a 24-inch Audley DTF printer. For me, it mainly came down to the support, the time that it was going to take to get here. I was fine with both of those things. I knew that the support, I was going to have that language barrier. But again, guys, I have been dealing with the support. They have like a WhatsApp group that I can talk to the engineers who designed the printers. And it hasn't been the greatest, but it hasn't been bad. So take with that what you will. The time I was okay with waiting about 2 months. It's going to take you at least 2 months, I would say, to get your DTF printer from the time that you actually make payment to when it's going to arrive on your doorstep. And then 3, the cost. For me, I was obviously looking to save on cost since it was going to be an investment for my business. And saving on the cost allowed me to invest that money into other things to grow my business. So for me, again, it was going to be a no-brainer. I went with the Audley DTF printers from China. And let me show you guys what they are looking like. We have both of them running today in action. Of course, right after I finish saying that I'm going to show you the DTF printers, one of the DTF printers finishes its file. But I got everything all set up again. So this is what we are working with. We have, like I said, 2 Audley DTF printers. This is the first one that we purchased, so we got this one and delivered on at the end of November 2022. And then this is our second one. We just ended up taking delivery of this in August of 2023. So they have been the workhorses of our full color DTF transfers, printing all of the full color DTF transfers that have been printed through our business. And we have had nothing but really good things to say. We've run into a few critical problems over the months that we've had them, but nothing that we couldn't fix. And nothing honestly too detrimental. Please excuse any mess. We are a active print shop and printing customer orders. So what you can see happening here, if you guys haven't actually seen a DTF printer before, is it lays down the CMYK ink and then comes over top of it with a full white underbase. And this is something that you can configure in the settings, but it just goes ahead and prints the design. And what you can do is you can fit two 11 by 11 inch designs next to each other on the sheet. Since it is a 24-inch sheet, that way you can print two right next to each other, save on time, save on material, and save on cost. So then after it gets printed, it comes onto the tray right here, and this tray is actually heated. So this is going to be heated to 105 degrees Celsius. And what this does is, if you can see, as it gets printed, the ink is kind of shiny. However, as it progresses its way down the tray, it looks a lot more dull and matte, and that is because we are semi-drying the ink on the film. We want to do that because the next step that it's going to be is it's going to go into the drying chamber. Now this is a separate piece of equipment. You have the printer over here, and then you have the drying equipment. Like I said, I got both of these pieces for $9,600. So the film, after it's been dried, comes into here, where it then gets powdered with the powder adhesive. This powder adhesive acts as a glue to help the ink stick to the t-shirt that you are transferring it to. After that, we shake off any of the excess powder, and then it goes through the drying oven. The drying oven we have set to 115 degrees Celsius, and that is the final cure for the transfers before they come out the other end. And when they come out the other end, I'll try and get it for you on camera, but you can see it kind of looks like an orange peel, right? So that's really the telltale sign that you have a finished, fully cured transfer. There you go. You can really kind of tell that orange peel look. And then it gets rolled up for cutting. That's the general process of how it works using a Audley DTF printer. And like I said, we got two of these bad boys running and love every minute of it. But with that, guys, I want to tell you a little bit more about how this has impacted our business. So like I said, when we were just sending out the DTF transfers to be outsourced to another company, the profits were not very good. I'm not even going to lie. The profits were pretty slim. And if there were sometimes any problems with the order, either on our end or the companies or the customers, whatever it is, sometimes we would end up losing money on the orders. So since we have taken delivery of these DTF printers, our profits have exponentially increased, to say the least. Since we are buying the film straight from China, we're buying the ink from China, the powder, everything. So we are not buying any of our materials locally in the US. If we were to do that, our prices would be like 4 times higher for our materials. It's extreme. So if you aren't already buying your materials directly from China, highly recommend doing that. That's a little insider tip for you. Do not buy them directly from the US. You're going to get screwed on the price. So with all of that combined, our average margins on the DTF transfers are plentiful. We're happy to enjoy a healthy margin on our DTF transfers. I'll leave it at that. Especially compared to how things were before getting these and when we were outsourcing them. Another impact on our business is a lot of times when we would try and just push that customer to get up to the minimum for the screen print transfers, now we can just send them as a DTF transfer. Like, that's no big deal. Since we have these DTF transfers, we no longer have to try and convince the customer to buy a few more of those screen print transfers so that they would meet the minimum. This just makes things so much easier. And not only that, it allows us to close more sales at the end of the day. This combined with just the general efficiency that these DTF printers have brought our business, it has been a game changer for us. We are extremely grateful every single day that we ended up allowing ourselves to make this purchase, getting the business to a point where it can sustain not only one, but look guys, 2 DTF printers. It's pretty insane, especially for me. Like, we just started the business in our garage in early 2020 during the pandemic. So to see how far it's came, it's really incredible. And if this is something that you're interested in, you could literally follow the steps that I have laid out in this video and possibly achieve what we have done, if not even greater things. So again, guys, if you have any questions at all, anything I can help you with, you have any concerns, questions, you want some guidance on anything at all, drop them down below in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I am here to help you guys. I am trying to create a channel for heat transfers, heat transfer community members, that we can all just grow and share the knowledge that we've learned over our time. So if that sounds like you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like on the video below. I'm trying to get the channel to 1,000 subscribers. I think I'm currently at like 675. So if you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. That would really mean a lot to me. I try and provide as much value as I can in these videos. So if you feel I've earned your subscription, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. But again, guys, I know this was a little outside the scope of my typical daily videos, so if this was something that you enjoyed, please let me know in the comments down below. It would really make my day. And with that, guys, I'm going to leave you here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with normal daily videos.